If you're an avid viewer of World War II era history content, then you may have heard of the Franco-British Union. In case you haven't, it was a last-ditch proposal considered by French and British governments to merge their armies and political systems into a single country in a desperate attempt to save the rest of France's territory from German occupation. However, if you thought that wasn't cursed enough, well, I've got good news for you. Because 5 years after the war, a proposal was made by German Chancellor Konrad Adenauer to form a joint union between West Germany and France. Why? Well, in this video, we're going to answer that question and explore why the Franco-German Union was ultimately doomed to fail. After the end of German occupation, the Western-controlled sectors would merge to form the Federal Republic of Germany in 1949. This new German state was headed by Chancellor Konrad Adenauer, and he wanted to repair his nation's relationship with France after that whole war and brutal occupation thing that had just happened. This diplomatic effort was going well, but there was still a major point of contention between the two countries: the Saarland, an ethnically German area effectively under French control on the border. West Germany wanted a referendum to be held for the Saarland to rejoin them, because they knew they would win. France, however, strongly resisted, because they were understandably worried about German territorial expansion, and they also wanted to keep control of the Saarland's coal mines, which it had a lot of. Despite this tension though, Adenauer was determined to end West Germany's diplomatic isolation and promote reconciliation with France. In March of 1950, when Adenauer was interviewed by an American journalist, he raised his proposal for a Franco-German Union, after insisting that reconciliation between France and West Germany was vital for the reconstruction of Western Europe. Based on Adenauer's proposal, the Franco-German Union would have had a single currency, the Union would have had its own parliament, and a joint nationality would have been encouraged. It was also proposed that this union would be the first stepping stone to creating a United States of Europe, since he was open to the idea of other West European nations joining the Union later down the track. Now, was Konrad crazy? Well, unless he desperately wanted to create the UK's worst nightmare, then yes, it seems he was. Especially according to the French, who trashed his idea for a union between the two nations. Firstly, it seemed that the French public may not have been too happy with reuniting with Germany, since they probably had a very understandable distrust of the Germans because of the war. After all, this union was a German proposal, not a French one. Secondly, the French media was also highly critical of this plan, specifically claiming that it had no chance of success because it was based on the condition that the Saarland be given back to West Germany. Most French politicians and public figures criticised the idea for lacking credibility and for being too utopian and optimistic. There was one notable exception though: General Charles de Gaulle. In the same month the proposal was made, he held a press conference stating that there was a need for Franco-German cooperation. He welcomed Adenauer's proposal to establish a union between France and West Germany, seeing it as a way to put an end to their shared rivalry. Ultimately, however, this proposal wouldn't really become a reality. The French would eventually allow a referendum in the Saarland, where its population voted to rejoin West Germany. And in the following years, the foundations would be set for the predecessor to a different union. A more European one, if you will.